Well, hello there. Yep, I'm on. Leslie Plazz, also known as Zazoo Plazz. Wow, it's Sunday already. Back out here in the woods, found a nice oak to lean against. Boy, great day. I thought, oh, it's, that perfect May New England weather where it's kind of cool, a little windy, buggy and humid, but when that wind blows through, it's refreshing. And I felt a few drops, so I may have to cut this short if it starts raining. But the woods are filled in now, and there's that hush that comes over when you go into the woods, and it cools you immediately. And I walk over the little bridge where there's a stream, and the water just cools, and then I hear birds. Perfect setting for, I noticed today in the church calendar, because it's like old habit. It's what I do. But I do it in a new way now. Pentecost Sunday. So now that this is my church, and it's Gemini season, so that means I have a thought and whew, it kind of goes out. It's kind of like talking to my mother-in-law. Gemini season, because she's an air sign, she's Libra. It's kind of like, oh man, what was I going to say? I had this great, oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's like talking to my mother-in-law. Well, she'll call. I have to tell you. Just tell me. I have to tell you, I met this woman on the bus, on the senior bus, and her name's the same. It's the same as my sister's, and she only has one child, and this and that. It's like Gemini season is like talking to my mother-in-law, and then she'll say, "Oh, I have to ask you." So she'll call you with this question like, "How do I make buttermilk?" Like she's going to make something that has buttermilk in it, and she wants to ask you that. But really, what she wants to find out is, what's going on for graduation, or what's the dirt, what's really going on with you. But she'll call with something like, "Oh, where do you find Greek yogurt, and what is it?" Do you have any turkey recipes for my entire marriage? So I've begun to kind of interpret this. So this is a time for this kind of behavior, all right? This is my Irma Bombeck style, but it's Zazoo Plazz, okay? So this is the way I view the world. This is a time when you go, wait a minute. I know what you really want to know. Don't just cut through all that. Just ask me. If you want to know something, just ask me. Don't go through all this rigmarole and, pretend that you're calling about something else. We all know that you just want the dirt. But it's also a time where we can really figure things out. Like I came out here and all the annoyances of, I'm up on this hill, and all this time I've been doing these videos, I didn't realize there's a little knob down on the bottom where you can tighten it so it has a stronger base and it doesn't tip over. And there's a little widget on the back of this part of the tripod that enables you to twist this so it doesn't spin around like crazy. So every week my videos are getting better because I'm figuring out what are the best places. I go different trees, but every place teaches me something new about my craft, what I'm here for, this. And that is the whole point. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the whole point of life. From my standpoint, is to do things in iterations and constantly evolve and improve. That's my Uranus and Virgo talking, I guess. There's a goose over there, resident Canada goose. But I am so inspired by Pentecost. The whole thing of the wind and the symbolism of it, the speaking. Because I have three of my personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, in Sagittarius. That's the sign of seeking the truth. It's fire. It's well, plus I have my North Node in Gemini, which is wind, air. This combination means that you could put me on the radio, you could put me online, you could put me on TV, and I'll never run out of things to talk about or things to get judgmental about. And I'm trying to rise above that. See, I'm trying to rise above my Sagittarius. South Node is in Sagittarius, which is stuff from the past, right? Baggage, stuff that didn't work, like this tripod. Gemini, it's my North Node, is what I'm traveling toward. My higher self, the higher form of Leslie. So sometimes I'll go like, I just bought myself this fuchsia hat. Maybe I'll post a picture. I'm very geeky. But I think I bought it for future Zazoo. Future Zazoo's adventures in, the safari or somewhere where, I might need a hat that has like a big cape that covers my neck. It's like a capron for my neck. And I told my friends this week, I'm like, I think I'm a little far ahead of myself. I'm buying clothes for my future higher self that my current self, family, doesn't think I should wear out because I'll embarrass them. So the Holy Spirit is kind of like, I think of it as the ultimate communicator, like Mercury with the wings, and Holy Spirit, and kind of comes upon all of us, like those, when they started speaking in all the tongues in the Bible and nobody can understand each other, and it's like it's time. The Holy Spirit is like the midwife of this whole birthing a new age. It's like when I had my first son. Oh, it just reminded me. I went to all the classes to learn how to breathe, and all this, and I had the best intentions of having a natural childbirth. And my college roommate was like, "Don't be a martyr." She's like, get the epidural, whatever. So the Holy Spirit's kind of like the epidural. And I got in there after 20 hours. She's like, the natural lady who was trying to help me. We did the bath, we did the ball, we did the thing. She's like, this kid is, just. She said, I didn't do all this stuff when I had my kid. I just got to, think, did a C-section. Like, well, you could have told me that 15 hours ago, because I could have avoided all of this. You just get the shot and be done with it. Let's get the party started. So anyway, the second kid that came along, I said, I'm not wasting time with that. Just, just get it done. So the Holy Spirit is kind of here to show us, to kind of help us along, say, you know what, this is kind of what you're here for. Let's get on with it, Let's go right to this. Here's what you came with. Here are your skills, the speaking. Maybe the Holy Spirit is whispering in my ear saying, hey, here's how you adjust your tripod so it works better. Yeah. And then wow, I never thought of that before. Yeah, I have my theories, but I think the Holy Spirit is kind of like that whisper that you hear when you think of something that you have been working forever on, and you take a break and go for a walk in the woods, and it suddenly occurs to you. So anyway, I'm talking about, you know, moving away from, for me personally, I speak for myself, and if you can relate to some of the things that I'm going through, you're welcome to them. And if not, perhaps something I say will just jog a feeling or a memory about something that you know, that you might realize, and it might make your life a little better. So, yeah, so here goes. Talking about my first son, my second son, Jack, right? He was baptized June 2003 on Pentecost Sunday. He was the only baby, and he didn't cry at all. He was just like, can we get on with it already? You know, and then the party. He always wanted, the party. Let's get this done so we can, and all these people came, and a lot of people that, we don't see anymore. So, there was the party, and baptized. And now, in a couple of weeks, he's graduating from high school. And I was rummaging in my junk drawer for something to use today, because I really have no idea till I get out here. And I found this. It's a little, silicone rubber thing. See? You put the pencil in there, see? And the kid can grip it with his fingers, and he can, or I don't know how you do it, like that. I never used one of these, but I have a big bump on one of my fingers from when I used to grip my pencil as a kid. I would take my nail and I would just, write so intensely. I think I still have a bump there to this day, because they didn't have these when I was a kid. So I guess he took after me. He got to kindergarten and even preschool. They're like, okay, your son, he's very messy when he writes. The older one had no problem. He's Virgo. No problem, very neat handwriting. But spoken, he's a little, he was good speaking, but he was a little more reserved. This kid, so fast, the ideas and the words and the thoughts would come so fast that he couldn't get them down fast enough, writing, and both boys pretty much were like this. The older one would always complain if he had to handwrite something, or, So these kids born in the 21st century, they're so fast thinking, their energy is so fast, they can't get it down. And I even felt like this growing up, like I couldn't type fast enough, My mom thought she would take me all summer to learn how to type, set me up when I was like 12, puts me at the typewriter. She walks away. We had a little chart, everything. She walks away. 10 minutes later, she comes back. She said she was upstairs, and she hears like tapping, furious tapping. She comes down, and I've covered an entire sheet. I already knew how to type. I came in here. Apparently, she knew I knew how to talk, because I never stopped talking the whole time I was growing up. I was constantly. So, but this kid, the teacher said, "Oh, maybe he has a learning disability. He can't write. He can't wrap his hands." So they gave us a ton of these things. Somebody's coming. And bikers. So he used this, and he got a little better. So now he's got a 4.0 average. He's getting scholarships. We're going to scholarship night pretty soon. Oh, they're stuck in the mud. 2 boys. Yeah. So, anyway.
Hello.
Hi. Boys are great. So anyway, this kid is getting scholarships. We got a letter saying, congratulations, Jack. We're very proud of you. You've earned some scholarships, and please bring your parents to the scholarship night. So we're like, wow, this is cool. This kid, he went to his senior outing. They went to a place down in southern Connecticut, the whole class, which was great. They had a great time. And then they had their senior reception this week, which was cut in two, But it turned out some of the people weren't happy that their kid got in the first wave. Coming up to it, all these parents, they wanted all the kids to be together. And then, my kid got in the second wave, which was later, and it was cooler. And they were all like, the kids who got in the first wave, it was so hot. And so, so it's hard to make everybody happy, especially these days. You gotta have a little sympathy, I guess. Even when things are normal, they're not always the way you want it. So, anyway, what I wanted to say is that this kid, for everyone who's been told that they're too something, too slow, too talkative, too much, too scattered, too slow, you fill in the blank. Whatever they said you were too, or just too much. That is where your genius lies. Follow that path, right? The kid who couldn't hold a pencil right turns out to be the kid everybody wants. He's the firefighter who's the first on the scene. Last night he's out there with his friends at the fire pit in the backyard, all up till 11, 12. They're all laughing. All these kids coming over, talking about their experiences and their past year and all the memories that they've made, Kids that they're playing their guitars together, they're hanging out. I couldn't help but think last year at this time, everybody was locked down and now it's so much, it feels good. So I'm happy for these kids that they have a great ending. They get to do these things. But people forget, We forget. And we're still going to complain. It's too buggy. You can't go to the beach. I went to the beach. He comes back. He burned the tops of his feet because he forgot to put sunscreen because, Mom wasn't there to tell him. But he's like, oh man. So he got burned. Bet you next time he'll remember to put sunscreen on the tops of his feet. And the other one came back from his trip. All kinds of stories. So, sometimes I look at my dog and I say, is she a dog first or a girl first? I think I would say that she's first a dog and then a lady. But isn't it easy to judge? It really kind of depends. Because if she were with a bunch of dogs, they would view her as a dog first and a girl second. When I'm sitting there last night enjoying my Saturday night girls' night, soaking my feet in Epsom salt, and the dog's on the couch, and I'm watching a show, having something to eat, she's a girl first, right? Girls' night. It's kind of all how you look at it. there we're entering a time when there's no room for strict definitions or judgments. I was thinking, all the judgments that were applied to me, or that I applied to myself on my journey, thinking that I was bad at being holding down a job because I've had so many, thinking that I'm a bad employee. Yeah, well, turns out a bad employee means a good entrepreneur. I work really well by myself, and I like to call the shots, and I like to know why I do everything. When you work for other people, they don't always want to tell you why you're doing stuff. Just do it. The people who excel in those kinds of jobs are not that curious, They just want to get a paycheck and go home, and that wasn't enough for me. I always analyze the heck out of everything, It drives people crazy. But it's good when you're a writer or an investigator, right? And Mercury retrograde coming up, I was thinking, it's a good time to examine the words we use, the words we write, the words we speak, and how do we judge? If you hear something coming out of your mouth, I remember when I was a little kid, maybe 3 years old, I used to watch Laugh-In, and I talk about it in Zazoo Plazz. One of my folks' favorite shows at the time was very popular. There was a comedian, two comedians, Flip Wilson and Sammy Davis Jr. They used to do this routine where it was, here come the judge, here come the judge. And I looked it up. Apparently it was originated by a African-American comic called Pigmeat Markham in 1968. And it was one of the first rap songs. It was kind of like, if you listen to it on YouTube, it's like a rap song. But, get out of here. It's, the whole thing was, Sammy Davis Jr. or Flip Wilson would come out with, the wig and the judge and everything. And here come the judge. And it sounded cool. And everybody would laugh. But I said, oh, geez, how many times can we say, here comes the judge? How many times do we judge others, ourselves? We all do it. Nobody's immune from this. I think it's human. It's not that, when you do it, the key thing is to just notice it. And what's it telling us about ourselves? What do we need to learn from what we judge? There's this movie, The Woman in the Window, I started watching on Netflix. And it's Amy Adams. And she's this woman who doesn't go out. And it's kind of like us all this year. But it's a theme I bring up in my book too, about how my office, it's like Rear Window, that Hitchcock movie with Jimmy Stewart. For you old movie buffs, I sit there and I say, it's hard to suspend judgment. I say, oh, so-and-so's getting, new mulch for the front of their yard. So-and-so had their whole lawn torn up and reseeded. So-and-so over there is, probably getting ready to have a party, and so-and-so hasn't cut their lawn in a week. I can hear my dad going, expressing outright amazement. Oh, so-and-so hasn't, cut their shrubs. You haven't cut the shrubs. I have to admit, my dad is still a big landscaping judge. We all have our specialties. My oldest son, he's a clean freak judge. Comes home, apparently the bathroom was not up to his standards, or his room. despite my having cleaned it a couple weeks ago. He put up the gate, brought out a big bucket of cleaning supplies, and just attacked. He's like, I can't live like this. Well, neither can I, but I don't have time to clean every single thing that I think is not up to my standards. Basically, I would have no energy or time for doing this because my standards are really high. But if I go online and I look at somebody's beautiful, Airbnb cottage, designer cottage or whatever you have, I think that is the kind of place I would love to get away to. But it sure as heck ain't the kind of place where I'm living. Because I know I wouldn't eat off my floor. I know what's been on that floor. People are scraping painting the deck and just dragged in, stuff from the fire pit and the stuff from the trip to, the southeast U.S. All this stuff all over the place. Anyway, there I go judging again. It's not like I'm trying to please anybody else or impress anyone. I just, I'm grouchy. When you put me down in a place that's dirty and crappy, I'm a little grouchy. I have to admit. I like beautiful spaces that nurture my soul. So what I've accepted is that I have to find a little place, make little mini shrines in my house. And I spray my white sage aura spray and breathe and close my eyes. Just try to imagine that I'm in one of those little designer cottages by the beach somewhere. The other news is a friend that I work with. She gave me a really great gift this week. She gave me the collection of Irma Bombeck's columns that she wrote for the newspaper, syndicated columns over the years. There's, maybe I'll post something about it. At least the title, I forget what it was now. But she said to me, my friend, she said, maybe you should do a syndicated Zazoo column. And I went, yay! Because I've been wanting to do that my whole life. I didn't know it would be a Zazoo Plazz column, but man, could I crank that out. I would love that. A humorous, here comes the sun. Goes the judge, here comes the sun. I forgot my sunscreen. Well, I didn't forget. Actually, my husband took off with the minivan and it was in there. So I didn't have any. These days, not a day goes by, not a half hour goes by where I don't say, oh, I can't wait to write about this. I can barely write everything down that I want to write about. So I'm almost done with my website, just have a couple more things. And a syndicated column might be coming, so stay tuned. And yeah, we're getting ready for graduation. And all the other things that are going down. Should be an interesting summer. So I hope you have a great week. This went by way too quickly today. I'm just enjoying. It's messy out here too. There's lots of fallen trees and twigs and things, but I'm not going to judge Mother Nature. She's been a little busy lately to do housework. Everybody can clean up after themselves. I noticed somebody put a soda bottle in that tree over there. There's like a opening in the tree, and they put a Gatorade bottle in there. Have to, whatever. I'm gonna let it be. Just gonna let it be, like the Beatles say. And here comes the rain. So I'm signing off. Another week in the books. I hope you have a great week, a lovely week. Hope you have a chance to, sit back and review, reflect, relax, renew, renovate, reinvigorate. And we're still in allergy season. So I will see you next week. Take care. And until next time, celebrate. Bye-bye.